Ham Calloway stared at Maddox across the briefing table with the specific expression of a man who had been asked something so unreasonable that his face was still processing it 3 seconds after the words had arrived. "You want us," Ham said slowly and with great precision, "to go back to the electric plant alien planet. The program has designated it XRC-9, Maddox said. "Have you read my report?" Ham said. "The whole thing? Or just the exciting bits?" "I read the whole thing." "Then you read the part about my hands," Ham said. "You read the part about the 400-kilogram whatever it was in the canopy. You read the part about the sentinels, which I described in detail, in order, with diagrams. You read the part where I said, and I am quoting myself directly here, strongly recommend further investigation be conducted by people who are not me, by which I mean anyone else, by which I mean people with better equipment and ideally some kind of shield." "I read that part," Maddox said. "And your response to reading that part was to schedule us for a return visit." "The ISV command's response," Maddox said. "I'm implementing it." Ham looked at Yara. Yara looked at the middle distance with the expression she used when she had already processed an incoming development, found it both predictable and unfortunate, and made her peace with it. "The compound," Maddox said. "The Meridian and the Lathium research vessel." "The continuance," confirmed it. "The Knot Nebula was a byproduct of XRC-9. The mineral you found under that mountain is what generated the Corridor 9 anomaly. We don't know how. We don't know whether it was deliberate or incidental. We don't know whether whatever is running that extraction complex is aware that it generates spatial anomalies as a side effect of its operations, or whether the anomaly forming was the point." He paused. "We also don't know how it's connected to the weapons that destroyed the Sever," he said. "And there is a deep space communication tower on that planet that was transmitting something when you left. We recorded the signal. Nobody can read it. That tower was not on any scan before you were on the ground, which means it either appeared after you landed or it was specifically shielded from orbital detection and revealed itself for a reason we don't understand." The briefing room was quiet. Ham looked at his hands. They had stopped tingling 3 days ago. He thought about the tunnels and the cavern and the scale of the extraction complex and the sentinels moving with their impersonal, purposeful efficiency. "More people this time," he said. "Better equipment. An actual plan." "Yes to all 3, Maddox said. "And you're coming." "I'm coming." "Good," Ham said. "Because I want it witnessed by someone with command authority when I say this is a terrible idea." "Noted," Maddox said. "Sable, you're with us. We need someone who can read physical environments and non-verbal communication patterns if we encounter anything that isn't a sentinel." Sable, from her corner, nodded with the composure of someone who had made peace with being on the interesting end of missions some time ago. "And Kos," Maddox said. Kos, from the doorway, pulsed once. The collar device rendered it as I had already determined I would participate. "The electrical discharge properties of the planet's flora represent significant observational interest for the Gassic Combine. This was my decision." "Right," Maddox said. "Yes. Absolutely your decision." Kos pulsed again. "You were going to suggest it." "I was considering it," Maddox said. Kos pulsed. "You had already decided. You were waiting for an appropriate moment to present it as a suggestion." Maddox looked at Yara. Yara looked at her navigation tablet. "Kos is coming," Maddox said. Ham pointed at Kos. "You're bringing the electrical being to the electrical planet." Kos pulsed. "Correct. I anticipate a productive interface." "A productive." Ham stopped. "You know what? Fine. Fine. This mission was already going to be absurd. Let's add an enthusiastic Gassic to the electrified alien jungle." He stood up, picked up his jacket, and headed for the door with the specific energy of a man who had accepted something terrible and was going to be very thorough about it. "Ham," Maddox said. "Already packing," Ham said. "And I'm putting the electric-resistant gloves in the top of the kit this time, just so you know. First thing, top of the kit." Meridian's analysis of the compound, now formally designated XRC9, or the evil plant layer mineral in Ham's personal log, which he was not going to change regardless of what the program said, had taken 12 days and produced a report that Maddox read with the growing certainty of someone watching a picture become clearer one detail at a time, each detail more important than the last. The mineral's energy transfer coefficient was not an instrument error. It was real. The Continuance's Lathium research team had independently confirmed it with 3 separate methodologies, and their report, forwarded to 3 and then to Maddox via the data-sharing arrangement that was becoming the closest thing to a standing protocol either side had established, used language that Maddox had never seen in a Lathium document before. The word remarkable, unmodified, in the 3rd line. The Not Nebula's connection to XRC9 was confirmed through spectral analysis of the post-degradation component field. The mineral under specific conditions of energy concentration and discharge. Conditions consistent with the wave discharge weapons that had destroyed the Sever. Produced a spatiotemporal distortion effect as a secondary output. The distortion accumulated. Given sufficient mineral mass and sufficient discharge events in close proximity, the accumulation could reach the scale of the Corridor 9 anomaly. Whether this was a known property being deliberately exploited or an inadvertent side effect of the weapon's operation, the Meridian and the Continuance had not determined. The report noted in the careful language of scientists who found a conclusion uncomfortable that either possibility had significant implications. Maddox had forwarded this section to 3 with a 1-line addendum. I think we need to be on that planet at the same time. 3's response, which arrived 4 hours later, agreed. A Lathian survey team will approach from the western range. We will not coordinate landing times. Separate approaches reduce detection probability. Maddox had shown this to Ham. Ham had said, "The Lathians are going back too, and they didn't tell us until now." "They're telling us now," Maddox said. "Aye, in a way that means we won't actually see them until we're already on the ground and possibly already in trouble. They have a point about detection probability. The Sentinels adapt," Ham said. "I noted this in the report, in large text, with underlining, which is why we're not using the same approach as last time," Maddox said. "Different entry point, different methodology, smaller initial footprint. And when the Sentinels adapt to the new methodology." Maddox looked at him. "We improvise," Maddox said. Ham closed his eyes for a moment. "Open them. Top of the kit," he said. "Electric-resistant gloves. Top."